Shabbat Shalom. Our Torah portion this week is called Parshat Behar. Like so many other Torah portions in the book of Leviticus, our parsha is actually combined with a second parsha in order that we finish the reading of the Torah in time for Simchat Torah. Parshat Behar is actually the word Behar means on the mountain, and it serves to remind us that the Israelites were still at Mount Sinai, where they had originally received the Ten Commandments. All of the laws that are contained in the book of Exodus and in the book of Leviticus were given to the Israelites by God at Mount Sinai, reminding us, the rabbis tell us, that just as the Ten Commandments have authority over us and authenticity, so too do the remainder of the laws in the books of Exodus and Leviticus. Our parsha begins with two laws that would only come into effect when the Israelites entered the land of Israel: the laws of Shemitah and the law of Yovel. Shemitah refers to the seventh sabbatical year, when the Israelites were to leave the land uncultivated and fallow. Yovel refers to the Jubilee year, once in 50 years, when every Israelite would return the property that he had to its original owners, and all debts would be forgiven. These two laws of Shemitah and Yovel come to remind us that the land of Israel, the land on which we dwell, belongs ultimately to God. It is God who allots the land to us. It's God who gives it to us, and we take it on loan from God. Shemitah reminds us that we're tenants on the land, and therefore we have an obligation to serve God and to preserve the land, to allow it to regenerate itself and to restore its nutrients. Yovel reminds us that the land is ours only on loan, that nothing that we own is ours in perpetuity. At the end of 50 years is our obligation to return the land to its original owners, to the people and parties and families to whom God originally assigned it. It is following these two laws of Shemitah and Yovel that the Torah moves to its next law that tells us, Al tonu ish et achiv. When God's property is distributed, we must buy and sell property without wronging and oppressing and abusing other people. The topic of ona'ah primarily deals with business law, but the rabbis wisely expanded the law and moved it beyond business law to the topic of ona'at devarim, abuse of language, using language incorrectly. That abuse of language included verbal wrongdoing and verbal abuse. The Midrash on this verse begins with the words Hamavet v'achayim biyad halashon. Death and life and death are in the power of the tongue. How we speak and how we use our tongue is very, very important. The Midrash tells a story of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, who sent his servant to the market to buy him meat. One day he asked his servant Tavi, a very wise and intelligent individual, to go to the market and buy him some good meat, and Tavi came home with a cow's tongue. Several weeks later, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel sent Tavi to the market to buy him a lesser quality of meat, some inferior meat, and again Tavi came home with cow's tongue. How is it possible, asked Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, that both good meat and bad meat could be the same meat? And Tavi explained that when a tongue is good, it is the best meat. But when a tongue is bad, it can be the worst. Of course, Tavi wasn't simply referring to a cow's tongue. He was really talking by analogy of how we speak. When we speak wisely, when we speak kindly, when we speak sensitively, the tongue is wonderful, the best thing that we have. It's a way of giving encouragement to others. But when we speak abusively, when we speak harshly, when we speak insensitively, the tongue can become an instrument that is cutting and damaging as well. We know only too well today how prescient our rabbis were. We know that a good word to someone can encourage them to progress and to move further. A good compliment taken in the right way can help someone become even better at what he or she is doing. By the same token, abusive language and language that criticizes harshly can lead to low self-esteem and even a sense of failure. Ultimately, especially among young people, we know that harsh language, abusive language, constantly being put down, verbal abuse, bullying, has led among young people to suicide and to death. The rabbis were indeed prescient. They truly understood Hamavet v'achayim biyad halashon. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. How we speak can help people rise to great heights. By the same token, it can also bring people to the lowest levels of their lives. Let us use our tongues as a source of life. Shabbat Shalom.